So, welcome along everyone to our first beginners live broadcast for our Loose Watercolours beginners group. So, if you are a member in there, guys, welcome. You're most welcome to join in with this fabulous way of painting. So, there's quite a few of you in there now, so it's quite a big bus load. So, and as I say, this is our very first broadcast, so it's going to be a little bit of a while before people realise there is a specific broadcast just for you. But I really wanted to do this to give you some basic information to get you started. Now, when I started off, it was difficult because I had to work out everything myself or just cobble together some ideas and just go away and practice. So I know how frustrating it can be right at the beginning. So that's why I'm here. I've been doing this quite a while now. So I used to paint very detailed paintings, and then I really decided to paint a lot more freer, quicker and looser, as we call it. So you're all loosies now, and if you've got any questions, please do just drop them onto the message board. I'll do my very best to answer them. But what I want to do is just show you very simple ideas of what all this is about. Okay, so if you are going to paint along or draw along, you don't need any special kit at all. Just a pencil, bit of paper. I've just got some copy paper to start off with. Any brushes you've got, and again, just colours that may be useful to you. I've got three colours. I've got a pink, I've got a mauve, and I've got a green. Now, you may not have those. Substitute them for anything, guys. It really doesn't matter at all. Okay, so what we're going to do, I thought we'll do a very simple rose. Okay, so I'll bring that up on screen for you just there. Now that looks really complicated, doesn't it? And if I saw that and I've not painted before, I'd think, well, I can't do that. That is well beyond my capabilities. But I'll show you exactly how we do that, and you'll be amazed. It's not really painted, it's just paint placed on the paper and letting water move it about. Now, I think that is pretty revolutionary. Yeah. So that's the beauty of watercolours. And the more you do it, the more you'll enjoy it, and you'll love it. Anyway, guys, basic stuff. Pencil, obviously. I call mine by a fancy name, Peter the Propelling Pencil. So he's a 4B lead. So B means basically it's quite a soft lead. H means it's quite hard, and if there's no H or B, well, actually H and B, that's where it crosses over. So B, the higher the number, the softer the lead. Yeah, there he is, pick him up. So all I want to do, and this is just on my practice paper, this is just copy paper or sketchbook paper, and I'm not going to try and draw the shape at all. What I want to do is hold the pencil nice and loose, yeah, just like that, roll it about halfway, so we can see where we are. We're not right at this end, we're not right at this end. Middle's good place to be. Okay, so all I want to do is a basic shape. Yeah, so looking at the rose at the moment today, but anything you're doing, just look at it and try and work out what is the most obvious shape of the object. Now, this for me looks a bit like a V shape at the top with a long stick. Yeah, does that sound okay? So all I do is decide where I want to draw it, which is about here. I'm going to say the bottom of the rose, I'm going to do a little dot. Yeah, easy peasy. Then I'm going to do a stem. So I'm going to drag it down to about here, do another little dot, one in between, and just draw a line down. Remember, this is just throwaway copy paper, doesn't really matter. Even on the watercolour paper, that don't matter much either. So I've got my line, this is the bottom of the flower. Yeah, so you see it's slightly tilting this way, so the flower goes slightly this way. And then all I want to do is decide how big the flower head is. Yeah, so we don't want it like that, that's tiny, there's not much there. We want it bigger. Do we want it bigger than that? Maybe a bit bigger. So all I do is decide roughly how big. I'm going to say about to there on that side, and about to there on that side. So again, dots, little ones in between, bit of a curve. Look how I use the pencil. I'm not actually moving my hand, I'm just moving my arm. Yeah. Same here, same thing again. And then all that work at the top, ups and downs, how do I do that? Well, don't worry. Just goes up and down. Decide where you want it. That's enough. That's the shape. Okay? So these, I've got a little leaf here. Let's put one on. So I'm going to put a little line and then a wobble back, thicker at the bottom, not so thick at the top, thicker at the bottom, not so thick at the top. Let's call that the rose. That's all I want. Yeah? That is all we're going to do. So that's a simple drawing. Quite quickly, I'll grant you. So we're not, the more you think about it, the more you'll try and work out exactly what to do. So basic shape is that triangle shape like that. We've got a stem which starts in the middle and comes down, and we have a little leaf going off on the right hand side. Yeah. So that's the drawing, guys. So I'd encourage you to get a bit of throwaway paper or a sketchbook that you don't mind what you put in and start drawing things out. Yeah. And you've got to start somewhere. So start right at the beginning. The very first drawing you do, just say to yourself, yes, that's the first drawing I've done. I enjoyed doing it. Onwards and upwards. And the more you do, the more it'll become an easier process. So, drawing it all done. What I'm going to do is just put this to the side, out of screen. Yeah. So now I've actually got my watercolour paper. Yeah. So that's lying flat on the surface, just on the tabletop. And all I'm going to do is repeat the drawing that I've just done. Yeah. So I'm going to make sure it fits in the screen, which is here. Yeah. I've decided where the bottom of the rose is, which is about, say, there, because I need room at the top to get it all in, don't I? There's the bottom of the rose. There's the stem down here. Little line in the middle, and draw a line down. But I'm not actually drawing the width of the stem. I'm going to let the paint do that for me. Yeah, a lot easier. I would only be filling in the gap, so it's easy just to drag a line of colour down there and say, right, that's a stem, that'll do, that's fine. There's the stem, bottom of the rose. Remember what we did? Decide how big the rose is so it goes round and up. So I pretend to draw the line, then put a little dot down. Yeah, don't tell anyone. This is a secret. These are loose watercolour secrets. Dot there, there's my curve. Yeah, remember I'm not moving my hand, moving my arm. Or fingers rather, I'm moving my arm. Same again, we take a line up, put the dot there. See, is it about in the same position? Yeah. Bring a line down, use your little dots, look. There's your cup shape. Yes, perfect, just what we want. So we've got your stem, we've got your little rose, and then, do you remember what I said about doing the top? Yes. Good, because I don't, I forgot, I've got a terrible memory. But here, we know it's going to be roughly in line with the top, and all we do is go up and down a bit, up and down, up and down, boom, and we'll land with the side. There's your flower, guys. There is your rose. Okay? So we've got that on. So rose, stem, and we said something about putting on a little leaf on this side. So I put a little mark on the stem, wherever I want it to be. Could be there, could be there. And then I drag a little line out. Yeah? So that's the join of the leaf. That is the top of the leaf. Then I'm going to take it back, so I go out and in, and same the other way, out and in, and that is roughly the shape of my leaf. That's all I want to do. Yeah, that's all we need to do, because we're starting this, and that's how simple I need it to be. Okay? So don't spend too long drawing, because the longer you spend drawing, the more fiddly you get. So sometimes it's a good idea just to limit yourself to say 5 minutes drawing, maybe 10 when you're starting out, but just see how it goes, and that will be absolutely perfect. Yeah. So are we getting back to the next stage? Yes, indeed we are, guys. So, again, as with the pencil, as with the paper, as with the colours, just use what you've got. Yeah. So, I'm going to just use 2 brushes today. So I've got basically a big brush, which is my large round-ended brush. It's a big round-ended brush, about size 16. Yeah. So size, again, the higher the number, the bigger the brush. This is a man-made brush, call it synthetic, but these are very strong little bristles on the end, and it keeps its shape up quite nicely. So that's called Big Brian. I give them silly names to remember them by, but they do seem to have grown into the names quite nicely. And I've got a thing called a rigger brush, which is a long brush like this. Look how thick it is. But it's a nice long synthetic brush again, and she's called Miss Rigger. Yeah, so I've just got the 2 brushes. Great people, great brushes. So they're the brushes, yeah. Put them to one side for a second. I've got my little palette. Yeah, I'll move the rose foil. That rose, that's called a flying rose. Now I just use a small palette really for filming. You can use anything you like. What you really need is something that's white and flat. They're the only things you need. And I place the colour onto the palette. Yeah. So again, whatever colours you've got, you may have them in little biscuits, or you may have them in a set already. Again, doesn't matter. You just need something to make sure you can make the paint a little bit liquid. So you need a bit of an area for it to run. So I'm going to use 3 colours. I've got pink, but if you've got anything sort of ready, as in ready colour, not ready to use, that'd be great. So there's the pink. Now take the lid off, hold it upright, squeeze gently and drag. There's my pink. So that's how I place them out. It's quite a good way to put your colours onto the palette, not in a blob. Just try it this way. Second colour I've got is one called Mauve, which is a sort of purpley red. Again, if you've got a purple, that would be great. There's my Mauve next to it. And we need a little bit of colour for our leaves. So I've got green, this is sap green, sort of a mid-green, again upright, squeeze and drag. Now don't put too much paint out, because it'll just get all over the place, all over the palette, and you won't be able to pick it up too easily. So a little bit, because you can always put more out, but when you put too much out, you can't stick it back in the tube. And I tried it once and it was absolutely covered, so I wouldn't advise it. I've got a nice big glass of water, there it is, not for drinking, but that is for getting the paint moving, washing your brushes. That's what it's called, watercolour. Colour, water. Add them together, what you got? Fabulous little paintings. And just out of shot, I've got a bit of tissue just to take off the messy colour and dry the brush a bit. So that's me all set up. If you're painting along, just follow it slowly, there's no rush at all. Okay, so I'm going to start with Big Brian, there he is, big round brush. I'm going to give him a little wash, so I'm going to stick him into the water, push it against the side of the container and spin it in your fingers, and that will get out all the messy colour from the brush. Okay, so I know I've got a clean brush now, there's no paint in it. Now, we're going to start this off very gently and easily. All I want to do is get a little bit of water on the brush. I'm going to use pink. I'm going to put the brush at the end of the pink and just go across and back. And keep going backwards and forwards until it starts to get liquid. Yeah, that's all I want. Nice liquid colour. Yeah. Okay, so there it is in the brush. It's in the brush, it's not just on the tip or one side, it's in the brush. So when I press this onto the surface, it'll appear again. Okay, so there's the flower. I'm going to put some of this just at the bottom, very simply. Place it near the bottom of the flower. Not right up to the edge, but just a decent chunk of pink. Yeah? Okay, well done. We're not going up to the top, I'll show you what I'll do in a minute. So now I clean the brush, take all the colour out. I'm going to pick up a little bit, water for a start, and then a bit of mauve. Yeah? So I'm doing the same thing, backwards and forwards over the colour, into the brush, make sure it's rolling about. And this time I'm just going to drop a little bit of this just into the bottom of that liquid paint. Not all over, just into the bottom. Okay? Fabulous. Now you'll think, well, that's 2 dollops of paint. Anybody can do that. Exactly. You can do that. We can do that. Third thing, clean the brush again. Put it onto the paper, get the water out, and pick up a little bit of water. Okay, so we've got a bit of water in the brush, we've got the colours on there. Now, all I'm going to do is put my brush into the colour and just drag it around. Yeah, so put it in, push it, put it in, push, put it in, push. This time I like it the other way. Drag a bit, so following the line around the bottom, and then again, push up to the top. You know those little marks we made at the top to decide the shape? Well, the paint's done that for you now. It's just a blob there, and that's where it's going to stay. You don't have to do anything more. So there we've got a nice little rose. That's liquid paint, that's 2 colours, and the bleeding, that means merging together. Yeah? How easy was that? Yeah, pretty easy. Right, okay. Now I'm going to use my second brush, which is Miss Rigger. Now she's a rigger brush. Give her a clean. Now remember, this is wet, but it'll dry slowly. It'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. Clean the brush, run it against the side, dip it onto tissue, back into a bit of water, and we're good to go. Now I can pick up paint the same as I did with a big brush, only it takes a little bit more work because it's a bit smaller, a bit more delicate. So backwards and forwards. If it's too dry, pick up some more water. Sorry, pick some more water up and go back into the colour. There's my sap green one. Oodles of it. Very nice. Okay, come with me guys. Let's go over here. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm just going to put a blob of this just at the bottom of the rose. Yeah, just there. So it's slightly outside and slightly in. Now because it's wet, it's going to bleed into the rose, giving those nice little shapes. I'm going down again. Now, what I'm doing now is the same as I did with the drawing. I'm just going to put the paintbrush down. I'm going to drag it to about there, so you can put a little dot if you like, or one even there. I'm going to drag till I hit the dots. Yeah. Go and pick a bit more paint up. Drag. There you go. There's your stem. And look at the way the green's just bleeding into the base of the rose there. So we've got all that on. Now, these little, you know where the rose joins the leaves, the stem? There's usually a few bits there. That's where it used to live, basically. So I'm going to get some green again. And what I'm going to do this time, I'm just going to put the brush outside of the stem, just catch it and drag it back. Yeah. So there's a little bit of old house that the rose used to live in. Make it a bit thicker by pressing down on the brush. And then I've got there, I've got a little bit of the old house that the rose used to live in. Another one. Maybe another one going this way. You can paint it any way you like, so you don't have to go in every time. Just go the easiest way of painting. Make it a bit bigger and go out this way. So press on with the brush and then lift off. Press on, lift off, press on and lift off. Okay, so that's the house that the rose used to live in. Jolly good. And I'm just going to drag a little bit of green into the rose as well. So this is through some of the paint and stop about there. Through some of the paint, stop about there. Through again, and again. Okay. Well done, guys, well done. Right, just here, I'm popping back with a big brush, big brine. Bit of water, a little bit of green again, blob. At the bottom of the leaf, just a blob of paint on. Maybe a bit more. Blob, blob, blob. Now I'm taking the colour off the brush, a little bit of water. I'm going to push this green upwards. Yeah, so push and stop, push and stop. Then downwards. So it goes the other way. Lovely. So we've got the green on. That's where we put it. We use water just to push it up and capture where the leaf joins the stem. Right, a little bit more purple. Now I'm just going to put a bit of this into the liquid paint under the rose. All I do is tap it and it will bleed wherever it's still a bit wet. Yep. Fabulous. That's it. Don't do any more. Don't do any more. Also, tiny bit at the bottom of the leaf, look. Tapping it. Don't real paint it. Bit on the stem, just to make it a bit of shadow. A little bit at the end of that. At the end of that. So you'll get better and better with how you use your brushes, your equipment, as you do this more and more. So looking really good, just a super simplistic rose, but very effective. Okay, now little thing I'm going to do now, one more thing now, don't worry if you're even still on the drawing stage, because I'm leaving this on for you guys to watch as much as you like and to use as much as you like to get used to it. So I'm going to pick a bit of pink up. I'm going to put a few little dabs of it right at the end of the rose, like that. So just move the tip of the brush up out of it, place it down, bring it round. Take off the colour, look, no colour, but there's water. And then I'm just going to push some water near to these colours and let them bleed in. So bleeding in is giving it a little avenue, a little walkway to bleed across. But what it does is makes the tip of the rose just a bit stronger in colour. Try a couple more, bit of pink there. On this side, I think I'm going to put a bit of rose. So again, pick it up, clean the brush every time. There it be. So it's right at the end of the rose. Let's go and clean this rigger. And clean, Andrew, good. Bit of water, no colour. And just below the rose, because this paint is now dry, a little bit of water and letting this just float back into it. Yeah? And dragging a bit through that green. So all of these things I'm just moving about on the paper. And I think, guys, we're not far off there. One last little thing. Now this is a bit of a leap. I'm going to drag a little line down that centre. And it's just a delicate line, it's not a big heavy line. And then with 3 lines off one way, and that gives us those little lines you get on leaves. Okay, so there you go guys, there is a beautiful, beautiful little rose, very simply done, but when I say simple, it means effective, it means easy to do, yeah, and you can do this. So if you've just watched along, that is fabulous. Have a look at it a couple of times and then get a little bit of kit together. Say use a red, you could use orange, something like that, and a green, those 3 colours. Try exactly what I've done and see how you get on. And I'd love to see your attempts, your work. So if you want to post it on Facebook, and don't be shy, because everybody's very, very supportive. And I do keep an eye on what everybody puts on, and everybody encourages everybody else. So it's a great place to learn this fabulous style. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and watch out for the next episode where I'll give you a few more tips and techniques to get you started. So take care, guys. Have a great evening, and I'll see you again very, very soon.